Mamta Banerjee didn't send me to parliament because I was Anglo Indian. Nor did she send me to parliament because I was Christian. I live in Bengal, I work in Bengal, I work on the ground in Bengal. I want to assure each one of you here, we will fight the good fight.
Catholic World, brought to you by Newsnet.
In today's Catholic World Special Edition, politician Derek O'Brien is pride of the Anglo Indian community. Pope Leo does some tough talking. Pope and King pray together after 500 years. Politics continues over the Kerala Hijab controversy. And interesting snippets from all over.
Pope Leo XIV addressed the meeting of the major superiors of the Society of Jesus, MMS. The Pope thanked Jesuit Superior General Father Arturo Soser and encouraged the society to discern new ways of living out your mission in today's world.
The Church needs you at the frontiers, whether they be geographical, cultural, intellectual, or spiritual. These are places of risk where familiar maps are no longer sufficient. There, like Ignatius and the Jesuit martyrs who followed him, you are called to discern, innovate, and trust in Christ. In my recent exhortation, De Lexite, I emphasize the need to confront the dictatorship of an economy that kills, where the wealth of a few grows exponentially while the majority are left behind.
Around 100 Jesuits from across the globe, including provincials, regional superiors, and conference presidents were present. The meeting began on the 17th of October and will end on October 27th.
Catholic World, brought to you by Newsnet.
As most Indian cities battle toxic smog, in the aftermath of Diwali celebrations, Meghalaya's capital, Shillong, has distinguished itself as the cleanest air city in the country, recording an air quality index, AQI, of just 17, categorized as good and posing minimal health risks. Delhi's average AQI remained in the very poor range, at 346, with some areas crossing the 400 mark, as reported by the Indian Express.
Don Bosco Parish, Udlabari, held its annual retreat from 21st to the 23rd of October at Parthabari Tea Garden, drawing over 3,000 faithful from its 14 sub-centers. Led by Father Lejo VC and his team, the retreat offered a deeply moving experience of prayer, healing, and renewal. Father VT Anthony, parish priest, coordinated the retreat with support from Father Sunit Kiro and other clergy. The MSMHC sisters rendered generous assistance throughout the 3 days, ensuring smooth logistics and pastoral care. The Patna Jesuits continue their mission for the migrants. The Migrant Assistance and Information Network reached out to hundreds of Bihari unorganized workers who are returning to Bihar for the festival season. Maine has helped several victims of distress migration over the years, providing assistance and advice through its nationwide network.
Meanwhile in Goa, the Archdiocese of Goa and Daman celebrated the Jubilee of Migrants on at St. Anne's Church, Honda. It was organized by the Diocesan Commission for Migrants, DCM, in collaboration with parish priests and parishioners. Migrants were invited to renew their spirit of hope, entrust their struggles to the Lord, and share that hope.
The serene coastal town of Uttun transformed into a vibrant hub of youthful energy and spiritual awakening during Camp Uttan 2025. The special initiative, under the theme Bosco ke saath Zindagi Mast, Life is Awesome with Bosco, by Don Bosco Makkarpura, Vadodara, brought together 35 spirited young campers from Makkarpura, Rosary Church Fatehgunj, and Don Bosco Ali Rajpur. The 5-day retreat was a masterful blend of joy and reflection, embodying Don Bosco's philosophy: run, jump, play, but do not sin. In Madhya Pradesh, the Khandwa Diocesan Youth Commission's 3-day youth retreat, Vardhan, Blessing, was held at Saint Theresa of Child Jesus Church, Chikliya. It brought together 390 young Catholics from across the diocese for an experience of profound spiritual renewal and awakening.
In Uttar Pradesh, the Diocesan Youth Convention, Jubilee 2025, was celebrated at St. Alphonsus Cathedral, Bareilly. Centered on the theme Be a Witness, the 3-day gathering brought together 352 young people across the diocese to renew their faith and strengthen their commitment to Christian values. The event was attended by several priests, religious sisters, and youth animators, who joined in supporting the young participants on their spiritual journey. The Patna Jesuit Youth Commission celebrated Magis 2025. A total of 245 participants took part in the program, representing the Archdiocese of Patna and the dioceses of Buxar, Betia, and Muzaffarpur. The inaugural Holy Mass was celebrated by the Archbishop of Patna, Most Reverend Sebastian Kalapura. The 4-day journey of Magis Patna 2025 inspired the youth to deepen their faith, embrace social responsibility, and become lights of hope in their communities.
Pope Leo XIV received several popular movements gathered in Rome for the 5th International Meeting and Jubilee Pilgrimage. In his address, he reiterated, following his predecessor Pope Francis, that land, housing, and work are sacred rights worth fighting for.
Chiedere terra, casa e lavoro per gli esclusi è una cosa nuova? Visto dai centri del potere mondiale, certamente no. Chi ha sicurezza finanziaria e una casa confortevole può considerare queste richieste in qualche modo superate. Le cose veramente nuove sembrano essere i veicoli autonomi, oggetti o vestiti all'ultima moda, i telefoni cellulari di fascia alta, le criptovalute e altre cose di questo genere.
From Paul VI Hall, before an audience of around 2,000 people, including farmers, migrants, recyclers, and representatives of marginalized communities, the Pope warned about growing inequality.
Infatti, quando si formano cooperative e gruppi di lavoro per sfamare gli affamati, dare riparo ai senza tetto, soccorrere i naufraghi, prendersi cura dei bambini, creare posti di lavoro, accedere alla terra e costruire case, dobbiamo ricordarci che non si sta facendo ideologia, ma stiamo davvero vivendo il Vangelo.
With these words, Pope Leo invited those present to continue building justice from below and to remember that the first revolution is born of love.
All India Anglo Indian Association is proud to bestow the Pride of the Community honor on Derek O'Brien. Mr. Derek O'Brien is a politician, a leading voice of the opposition, both inside and outside Parliament, an author and television personality. He has been elected 3 times as Member of Parliament. In the Rajya Sabha, he serves as the parliamentary party leader of the 3rd largest party in Parliament, the All India Trinamool Congress. In 2012, he represented India and addressed the United Nations General Assembly. For 3 years in a row, he was conferred the Anchor of the Year award by the Indian Television Academy and has hosted iconic shows like the much-loved Bonvita Quiz Contest. He is a celebrated author. He has addressed students at Harvard, Yale, Columbia, IIMs, IITs, and various other institutions across India and globally.
For being the first and only Anglo-Indian to be elected to Parliament, for fighting courageously and consistently for the protection and rights of minorities, especially for Christians and Anglo-Indians, for raising issues of grave concern and vital importance in the Rajya Sabha relentlessly and fearlessly. Mr. Derek O'Brien, the All India Anglo Indian Association is deeply indebted to you for your contribution.
I was trying to look at a word to describe how I was feeling when I walked in, and that word is zapped. And I'll tell you why. Because there have been some great books written on the community and some very, very good books, the foremost, of course, by Mr. Anthony and my brother Barry. Beautifully written, beautifully researched. But I was trying to come up with a symbol to represent the Anglo-Indian community, a powerful symbol. And the bishop's school here hosting it. But boy, oh boy, what a powerful symbol I saw today to tell us who we are as Anglo-Indians. When we walked in, it was a traditional Maharashtrian welcome. And I haven't removed, in Bengali we call it the teep or the tilak. The tilak will stay because we are Indian. The Anglo-Indian will stay because we light candles before the event. My salutes and congratulations to the Anglo Indian Association to come up with this powerful symbol. I just want to make 2 more points today. One, is I want to thank the fascists for giving the Anglo Indian community the biggest gift they could have given us was in December 2019 by snatching the reservations away from Parliament and from the legislative assemblies. Yes, it was a gift. That was 2019. Gone. We will look ahead. We will look forward. And I can sense today, especially when those boys and girls came up, there's a sense of energy in this room. You can feel it. There's a sense of youthfulness in this room. And I think that has what that 2019 reservation has done. It's galvanized everybody. Because we have to move forward. There are 54,000 schools in India run by Christians. Here's the second fact I don't want you to forget. Out of these 54,000 schools, 3 out of 4 students who go to these schools are Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Parsi, Buddhist and Jain. 3 out of 4 go to these schools. Can you imagine what great work we are doing for the community? I commit myself for the next 3 years, because my term is 3 years more, 26, 27, 28, actually 26, 27, 4 years. Over the next 4 years, if the Anglo Indian Association organizes, I will visit every single branch of yours at least once. Okay. Don't ever make that mistake. Don't ever clap for a politician when he makes a promise. You may want to check it out after 4 years. But this can only be done if the All India Anglo Indian Association does it. So I think one of the first things I'm going to go and say in Parliament is that I went to the Bishop's School in Pune. They put out 600 chairs there, 625 chairs. About 20 chairs are vacant, so 600. I want to know, if there are 600 Anglo-Indians here in Bishop's School, Pune, why did you tell us on the floor of Parliament that there were 296 Anglo-Indians in the whole country? Mamta Banerjee didn't send me to Parliament because I was Anglo-Indian. Nor did she send me to Parliament because I was Christian. I live in Bengal, I work in Bengal, I work on the ground in Bengal. I want to assure each one of you here, we will fight the good fight. Thank you and good evening.
Without question, history has been made today with the state visit to the Vatican of the King and the meeting between Pope Leo XIV, King Charles III and Queen Camilla. The day has had many groundbreaking moments, but I thought I'd pick out 3 which I think are particularly historically significant for some brief comment. The first moment was the wonderful sight of the King and the Queen with the Pope praying together at a service held in the glorious setting of the Sistine Chapel. The service, which was primarily in English, saw the Sistine Chapel Choir and the choir of St George's Chapel in Windsor singing. It is without question the first time a British sovereign has attended worship with a pope since the High Middle Ages. King Edward I was probably the last king to do so. In 1271, while still heir to his father Henry III, Edward went on crusade, the 9th crusade to the Holy Land. The first British king since King Edward I to meet a reigning pope was Edward VII, who met Pope Leo XIII in 1903. His proposal to do so was met with some horror and dismay by his government, and their scruples were only satisfied by the king agreeing to meet the Pope not formally as the head of state, but as a private visitor to the Vatican. George V and his consort, Queen Mary, met Pope Pius XI in May of 1923 during a state visit to Italy, and again on the same terms as a private visitor to the Vatican. George VI did not meet the reigning pope during his reign, it was Pope Pius XII, but his daughter, Queen Elizabeth II, met several popes during her long reign, and not as a private visitor, but as head of state. She met Pope John Paul XXIII in 1961 at the Vatican, Pope John Paul II at the Vatican in 1980 and 2000, and when he came to Britain in 1982, he was received at Buckingham Palace by her. Queen Elizabeth also met Pope Benedict XVI, and she hosted him at Holyrood in Edinburgh when he came to Britain in 2010. Her last visit to the Vatican was to see Pope Francis in 2014. The last time an English sovereign received an honour from the Pope was in 1521, when Pope Leo X granted Henry VIII the title Defender of the Faith, in honour of the publication of his work, The Defence of the Seven Sacraments, which was a refutation of the ideas of Martin Luther. Oh, the great irony of that. Now, today, King Charles and Queen Camilla have both been awarded the papacy's highest honour, the Order of Pope Pius IX. This order was founded in June of 1847 by Pope Pius IX. Charles III has been made a Knight Grand Cross of the order. He's also been given the right to wear the collar of the order, a right that's only given to foreign heads of state. Queen Camilla has been made a Dame Grand Cross without the use of the collar, following the precedent of other consorts. Now, I suspect the box on the table before the Queen with the papal arms on it contains the King's collar. Moments after being awarded the honour by the Pope, the Queen was seen wearing the miniature medal of the order on her left shoulder, and she wore it during the service in the Sistine Chapel. Although Charles is the first British sovereign to receive this honour from the papacy, he's not the first non-Catholic monarch to receive it. Now, in turn, the King made Pope Leo XIV an Honorary Knight Grand Cross of the Order of the Bath. Now, this order was founded or refounded in 1725 during the reign of George II, with both a military and a civil division, and Pope Leo has become an Honorary Civil Knight Grand Cross. It is an order that is routinely given by the British sovereign to foreign heads of state during state visits, but it has never been bestowed upon a pope before. In a visit to the Basilica of St. Paul outside the walls, which is where St. Paul himself is buried, King Charles has been installed as a royal confrater, a sort of honorary member or brother of the Benedictine monastic community that is based at the Basilica. Now, there is a deep historical resonance to this action. From Anglo-Saxon times, St. Paul's beside the walls was a church that had great spiritual importance to English kings, and they gave numerous valuable gifts to it. In the 2 centuries before the English Reformation, the kings of England were the formal protectors of the Basilica and its Benedictine Abbey. Indeed, even now, 500 years after the English Reformation, the remembrance of their role as protector is reflected in the coat of arms of the abbey and the abbot, which is shown encircled by the garter of the English Order of the Garter. As he was made a confrater, the king was seated among the Benedictine community on a specially commissioned seat, which is decorated with his royal arms and bears the Latin inscription Ut unum sint, that they may be one. This is, of course, a quote from the high priestly prayer of Jesus in St. John's Gospel, John 17:21, where Christ prays to the Father that those who follow him should be one, just as he and the Father are one.
This 55-year-old Catholic nun won a gold medal at Kerala State Masters Athletic Meet. She ran the hurdles race in full habit. Sister Sabina is a sports teacher at Dwarka AUP School in Manantavadi, Kerala. The debate over a Catholic school not allowing Muslim schoolgirl to wear a headscarf is gaining political importance in Kerala state.
In Kerala, where a dispute between a teenager and her school became a statewide debate over hijab. This after the student sought the right to wear a headscarf or hijab to her school, while the Kerala High Court closed the plea on wearing hijab to school yesterday, as the lawyer appearing for the girl said that her parents had decided to discontinue her studies at that particular school and have now admitted her to another institution. However, politics has now erupted over the same issue. The BJP is hit out at the left government in Kerala, accusing it of vote bank politics after it supported the student's right to wear a headscarf. The BJP said that the Kerala government is not interested in the rights of the girl, rather it's interested in the politics. The party also alleged that the LDF government believes in vote bank more than the constitution. This after the Kerala government told the High Court that not permitting the Muslim girl to wear a headscarf to school was an invasion of her privacy and dignity and denial of her right to secular education. The government said the right of the girl to wear a headscarf in her house and outside it does not stop at the school gate. Rahul Ishwar, first to you, the BJP, talking about how that the Kerala government is now doing appeasement of a particular community with their stand on this issue.
Gargiji, I'm a Hindu right-wing activist, but we all respect the right of everyone to wear what they want. To be honest, the problem was made worse by the intervention of the Honorable Education Minister Shivankuti, who is from the left and CPM. He made it worse. The school and the parent initially said we are on a path to consensus. And then it was the education minister who unnecessarily intervened and raised the temperature and created much more of a problem. That's such an evident thing. You can ask anybody in Kerala and media whether they are right, left or center. They would agree it was an unnecessary intervention where he was unnecessarily needling and provoking. See, in a pluralistic society, we need consensus in these kind of things. And there is also a Kerala High Court verdict which says the right of an institution to determine the dress code is larger than the right of an individual to adopt a dress code of their choice in an institution. So there has been multiple High Court verdicts, including from Kerala High Court and Karnataka High Court. We all understand it's a grey area, and we are all very empathetic to that young child, the Muslim girl who faced such kind of sadness. We are all with her. I mean, every right-thinking person is with her. But we all wanted a consensus. But it was the left government who wanted to provoke, please, have their own vote bank ideas in their sense that really worsened the problem.
The same applies, also to the BJP. Unfortunately, these issues, very sensitive matters, get highly politicized and become very strident on both sides in the state. We've seen it happen earlier in Karnataka as well, and now in
and the school and the parent were ready to work out a consensus, but Shivankuti, the minister, the education minister of Kerala, was provoking the school. He was intimidating the school. It was a CBSE school, but he was saying, he was implying that we will withdraw the permission for school to work. See, intimidation won't work. Threatening won't work. A soft conciliatory tone should be there from the people who are in the power. Kerala, we have around 18% of Christian brothers and nearly 27% Muslim brothers, and living very amicably and harmoniously for many centuries. So it's a sensitive issue. Minister should have intervened in a conciliatory tone, but minister going with the hard left or the Islamist, he wanted to appease, and he was threatening the Christian school. So naturally, many people on the other side of the spectrum stood up. In effect, happened is High Court said, the honorable judge said, I studied in a Christian school. I personally studied in a Christian school. We all respect Christian management. We should not be provoking them, and they are all happy that the girl got admission in another Christian school which allowed hijab. So these are some sensitive touch points, some fault lines in our nation which we need to find innovative solutions.